Hello. So growing up, I had this idea that being an artist meant signing up for a broke life. And somewhere along the way, I got tricked into thinking that selling my artwork would turn me into a sleazy salesman. So I never tried to learn anything about sales and marketing. In fact, I stayed far away from the business side because I didn't know it was necessary. But the dangerous part was that I was holding on to limiting beliefs about the life of an artist. And on top of that, I had damaging concepts about selling and making money off of my own work. But it's time to flip the script. I now know it's more than possible to thrive as an artist and not just survive. When I decided to be a full-time artist, I took an online art course that promised high sales within 6 to 8 weeks once I learned how to paint in a specific style. I followed this person on Instagram and Facebook for a while and saw all these raving testimonials about the course. So I jumped in the program thinking my artwork was going to be selling from left to right after completing the course. I invested close to $2,000 on this course. So I took it seriously and I worked hard during the 8-week program. Mind you, I was pregnant during this time and I wanted this to happen so bad so that I could stay home with my baby and not worry about finances. When I finished the course, I was excited and started posting my art on Instagram, on Facebook, thinking that this was it, that this was the style that was going to get me more sales. But I heard crickets. No one was buying. I mean, people were saying my work was beautiful, but I wasn't getting any buyers requests like how this program made it out to be. I wasn't the only person who felt duped afterwards. And it wasn't because our art wasn't worthy. It was because the course didn't mention the key ingredient: marketing. Growing up in the church, I was led to believe money is the root of all evil. For me, hearing this all the time felt like financial success meant dancing with the devil, and I didn't want any part of that tango. But the more I delved deeper into my own spirituality, I realized it's not about the money, it's about the intention behind it. The saying money is the root of all evil is like looking through a foggy window. Wipe away the haze and you'll see it isn't about the money, it's about your why. And I think us artists really need to understand this because God designed us for abundance. And as artists, we play a profound role in society. When I learned the first person to be filled with the Spirit of God was an artist, it hit deep. I knew that God wanted me to retrain my brain on what it means to be an artist, because we too are worthy of joy, peace, and prosperity. Creating isn't just a skill, it's a divine connection. It's like a dance between creativity and spirituality, telling a story that connects with who we are. Some of us aren't made for the 9-to-5 life. Back when I had a corporate job, I felt sick every Sunday night. It even got to the point where I had panic attacks on my way to work. It was like my spirit was saying, this isn't your jam. Stop forcing yourself in places where you don't fit. If God wants us to be happy, creative, and prosperous. It only makes sense to pick up the skills we need in order to be fulfilled. In the book, Real Artists Don't Starve, Jeff Goins says, "A willingness to step out of our comfort zone is the first step towards finding the place and the people who will help our work thrive." As artists, it might feel weird at first, especially when diving into marketing. To me, marketing is like putting on new shoes that aren't super comfortable right away, like the ones you have to break in. So even though marketing might seem strange at first, it's a skill that we have to pick up. It's not about being greedy or selling out. It's really about sharing the amazing things that we make with people who will love them. A wise person once told me, "Getting uncomfortable is the first step to getting really good at something." I personally like to see artists as architects of the intangible, translating emotions and carrying that spiritual energy. And I think it's time that we break free from the chains holding us back. We're not just creating, we're walking into discomfort to meet God and uncover our true selves. And when you move from believing to knowing that God will sustain you, and knowing that if you're called to be an artist, that the provision is already there, that's when the magic happens. We have to start operating from that space of knowing and understanding that the starving artist concept is a myth, especially when there's different ways for us to diversify our income. We don't have to just rely on art sales in order to be considered an artist. God placed different assets within us in order for us to move creatively in this world. And yes, it's going to be unconventional and people around us aren't going to understand what we do for a living, but it's not about what we do, it's about who we are. The revelation that I've had is that marketing isn't about selling out. We have to see it as a way for us to share the beauty we create. The myth of the starving artist fades away when we understand our art sales reflect our marketing skills. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to see marketing as a chance to spread joy, insights, and wisdom. Don't be duped into believing that just getting really good at art will make you successful. I learned the hard way. And also, if you're going to take courses, look for the ones that teach both technical skills and how to market yourself. But make sure to do your research first. Reach out to different artists to ask about their experiences with the course and use discernment and make sure you resonate with the teacher, mentor, or coach. Don't get duped by promises of quick success, because honestly, real success takes time and you have to remain a student for life. Read lots of books and keep working on breaking limiting beliefs that's keeping you away from your blessings. Now, for more inspiration, head over to my website. I have some pieces that will keep you inspired and motivated. And if you want to learn more about sales and marketing, check out this video where I share what I've learned on my journey so far. Also, leave a comment below because I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this topic. You're not just an artist, you're a creator of joy and a channel for the Most High. It's time for us to break free from these illusions that's holding us back. We have to allow ourselves to embrace discomfort and let the world witness the abundance that creatives were destined for.